good morning, and good afternoon, and good evening. Here goes. Wesley Bell settles SMEX discrimination, age discrimination case for maximum amount of $500,000 after 5 years of sitting on the docket. The case is Susan Petersen versus St. Louis County. Really, Wesley Bell. Now, this is not the first wrongful termination or sex discrimination case that Wesley Bell has settled. This is among several settlements he has settled for sex discrimination and wrongful termination. So let's delve into it. In the very late hours last evening, there was a post by KMOV. The article is entitled, let's get to it really quickly, St. Louis County settles discrimination claims aimed at former prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell with $500,000 payout. Now, this is really important because in politics, people know that, hey, if there's bad news, let it be late on a Friday night. So, luckily, because of their due diligence, KMOV was able to release this information to the public. Now, what's going to be interesting is what does the rest of the media do here in St. Louis? Now, I have confidence that Joe Holloman with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch is going to say something. And I really doubt that KSDK is going to say anything at all. Perhaps Fox News will. Perhaps if you're crossing your fingers, we may hear something on Donnybrook next week. But for the last year, there have been very few articles about this case. And you have to wonder why. Why have people been kind of like quiet on the issue? Anytime there are claims of sex discrimination or age discrimination or retaliation, in my experience, it appears that the media picks and chooses what they want to cover. And that is their right, absolutely. But it is also a disservice to the public because it takes taxpayer dollars to pay out these settlements for wrongful behavior. Now, if there is wrongful behavior, something needs to be done about it. You would hope that it would be institutional change. You would hope that there would be policy changes to ensure that there is no retaliation, there is no harassment, there is no discrimination based on anything. But for Wesley Bell, for the last 6 years, he has had several women above 40 who have left his office. He has had several people in his office that, as a prosecuting attorney, he has slept with, and they were prepared to testify in the trial. It's the Susan Petersen case versus St. Louis County. Now, this is a woman who is a lawyer. I've never met her. I don't know what she looks like. If she was on the street, I wouldn't know who she was. But by reading from all of this information, what I see is that there is a tendency, there's a MO, there's a practice that has been accepted for far too long in St. Louis County. $500,000 is the maximum amount. Why would they have her wait this long? Well, here's the simple, quick answer. It's because Wesley Bell is now in Congress, serving the 1st Congressional District in St. Louis County. And he loves that position. But there are far too many people that have enabled him and did not give him the accountability that he needed. It is unheard of for any department director, even an elected person, to not show up for three budget hearings, 3 annual budget hearings. It is not normal for a prosecuting attorney to let murderers on the loose so that they can murder more people. And in Susan Petersen's case, she alleges that There were several people who needed to be prosecuted, but Wesley Bell intervened and let them back out on the streets. Now, we all know it's no secret that St. Louis is one of the most violent places, the most violent regions in the country. And I'm all about liberalism, except when it comes to crime. Jalen Jefferson killed my little cousin. Jalen Jefferson killed a 15-year-old. Jalen Jefferson killed an 8-year-old. Perez Reed tried to burn his family's garage. He went out after being released by Wesley Bell and killed 6 or 7 people in St. Louis City, in St. Louis County, in Kansas, and finally, it was the FBI that caught him. The FBI. A serial killer on the loose because of Wesley Bell, and Wesley Bell is prohibited his assistant attorneys from prosecuting multiple people who were in similar situations who needed to be prosecuted. And he let them go. One of those people, his street name is Kilo. His name is Anthony Irvin III. Killed Darren Seals. If you want to hear about that, I spent 2.5 years of my life working on After the Uprising Season 2, which is up for an NAACP nomination, and you can listen to it. It's on iHeart, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple. It is wherever you get your podcasts. And I highly encourage you to listen to it. It's the reason why I'm doing this new thing, which is like talking into a speaker and letting strangers know how I feel about things. And you may hear, you may be interested, you may not. It's okay, because this is just something that I want to do for the next 4 years, keeping people accountable. When our local folks are not keeping some of these elected officials accountable for what they do. Wesley Bell should have been accountable for spending federal dollars for 2 new SUVs. Wesley Bell should have been held accountable for not showing up for 3 budget hearings. Wesley Bell should have been accountable for showing up other places and not into his office over the course of 6 years. It's very easy to show up to an event and take pictures and let people know that, hey, you're in the community. It's another thing when you're elected and you don't show up to do the job. The job is not taking pictures. The job is prosecuting violent offenders. And this is something that Wesley has not done. Wesley Bell has not prosecuted. And right now, we have so many people who are out on the street, violent acts, committing more crime. And the person to blame is Wesley Bell. He's not the only person. The county council is to blame. Sam Page is to blame because he's been quarterbacking him for the last 6 years. Inquiring minds want to know, really, why would you wait for so long to settle the maximum amount? Why? Why did Sam Page ask Wesley Bell? We're only guessing here. We don't actually know, but we can guess. It appears that Sam Page wanted to get rid of Councilman Hancock, and he used Wesley Bell to do that. I mean, he was under a timeline to hurry up and get rid of him, right? He didn't like the fact that he was going after him for having a second job, and a second job is against the county charter. He didn't like that. He does not have a council that supports him. Sam Page does not like the fact that even though he vetoed 4 or 5 bills in the last few days, that the ones that apply are probably going to be overridden. The vetoes are going to be overridden by a group of 6 people. Now, I hope they look at this gift horse that they have in terms of numbers and realize that they can now keep him accountable, and they can also keep Wesley Bell accountable, even though he is not in that office anymore. I would highly encourage them to use all of the tools that they have in their possession to ensure that the taxpayers' will is applied. They really should be doing a better job. So why is it that in the 11th hour, the guy's name or the person's name, I don't know if it's a woman or a man, but what is it? It's Pat Pratt, who released this article on KMOV at 8:02 in the evening. Now, I was scrolling down all the articles that are attached to Pat Pratt. And by the time I stopped scrolling, there was only one exception on January 5th of a post that was done in the morning. Most of them are done at nighttime. So again, political folks, they know that if there's a bad story that is going to be told, it's likely going to be told after the news cycle in the evening. I'm eager to see what the Post Dispatch writes. I'm eager to see if KSDK even covers it. They've been quarterbacking for Wesley Bell for way over a year. Inquiry minds want to know about that. You have someone who is a suspected, alleged pedophile, a known predator, a known sex predator in Congress. You have some of the liberal elites, not all of them, but a good number of influential political elites who supported a sex predator and an alleged pedophile. He is in Congress. He is making decisions for the people who live in St. Louis. Now, like Hexeth, how do we know he's going to stop being a predator? Do we know if he's going to stop? How many people is he protecting? There are so many allegations that I have heard that he has protected other sex predators, sex traffickers, that he has held extravagant parties, not like P. Diddy, but he has a lot in common with Sean P. Diddy Combs. Wesley Bell has a lot in common when it comes to former Congressman Matt Gaetz. They like him on the young side. I don't know if Matt Gaetz, sleeps with his staff or slept with his staff, but Wesley Bell did. He did sleep with his staff. He locked women in his domicile. He was always very anxious about cameras and telephones being, using the recording devices. And he brought that insecurity into his office. He always hated recordings. He still does because he doesn't want to get caught. But taxpayers paid the price for this week, yesterday. They paid the price $500,000. Wesley Bell was afraid that he was going to get uncovered. And he still is uncovered. It's just not going to trial. There are people who still know his activities. There are still people out there who are victims. There are still victims out there who are traumatized by all of his acts. I again really hope that our local press covers this story because it's never good. There's no sunshine. In one singular article at 8:02 in the evening on a Friday night. It's time to light this party up. It's time to let the people know that we have our own sex predator from the state of Missouri in Congress. And apparently people don't mind. Maybe they would mind if it was their daughter or their son or their grandchild. Maybe they would mind if they knew that they were doing everything in their ability to pay their taxes, and $500,000 of the people's taxes went to pay off a settlement for sex and age and racial discrimination. And oh, by the way, retaliation. That's where we're at. So there should be a conversation about a class action lawsuit. I mean, if you read the local, and to her credit, I do not like most of her articles I don't like because there's just a disconnect. Some of them just don't make sense. But the one that she covered the other day, and I'm not going to say her name because I still have issues with her, but the one that she covered yesterday morning, this is how fast the news is going, talks about the number of employees who left the Department of Health because of retaliation, because of management, because of the director who appears not to know how to do her job. And I think there are lawsuits that are coming from that. In any case, what I'm trying to say right now is that Wesley Bell has settled with Susan Petersen after 5 years, the maximum amount allowed by law to cover up his sexual misdeeds with his staff and others. He does not want the public to know what he has been doing all of these years by manipulating people and protecting other predators. So I hope that you guys listen. I hope that you guys read. I hope that you guys keep him accountable because there's so many people who have not kept him accountable over the course of years. I don't know what it is that have allowed this man to survive. I mean, is it the Illuminati that's protecting this man? You know, is it like Diddy? What is this? What is it that allows this person, such a flawed human being, to be in Congress serving the people who are most vulnerable in the first congressional district? Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and watch this space.